Hey traders, John Howell here. Today I want to just do, I did a video yesterday and the title was, it's 1999 all over again. It's about to break out. And I did a video and stuff like that. And I've got a lot of comments here. And I want to go through some of the comments on my instead of answering one by one, right? I'm going to do a video. And I'm also going to be answering them, to obviously to answer the question. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into the course right now. If you haven't done so, then johnsfreegift.com, see that link right there. There should be a link below this video, same link. Go get access to that free trading course. Now let's actually go through the questions here, which is actually really interesting. First one was, while so many YouTube are talking about the stock market crash, this is the interesting thing is, Hiro. The interesting thing about the stock market is this, Hiro. It's, if you understand the makings of the war sheet cheat sheet, you understand that the noises in the marketplace is giving you a clue of where we are at in the cycle of things. And I am getting the same thing when it comes to, when it comes to the trading, right? You said here, Johnny's gone the opposite with convincing arguments. Here's the thing about, right, to me, I'm not going against anyone. I'm just going with what is happening right now, right? That's what I'm doing is I'm just going with what is going on right now. And what is going on right now is that there is literally lots of money coming from other countries such as Europe into this country. We haven't even started to tighten yet. We haven't even started to raise interest rates yet. We've started to slowly taper. So nothing has changed. The environment that they're in right now, nothing has changed. So, and the interesting thing is this, Hiro, is that as I do these videos, I even do a video and I talk about how, listen, hey, this could be the top in the markets, but this market's still trending up. Why would you say this now is the top compared to, easy. Let's go to here, right? Why is this top here different than this one here and this one here and this one here and this one here? Why is it different this time? And it's interesting. A lot of people say, oh, well, the market's now in top. Really? Well, every single time. Now, there's no guarantees of this, right? But if you've been following my videos, you know since the start of this year, which is right here, I've been bullish these markets and they've done nothing but go up. And the people who have been short in these markets have been getting destroyed because you are trading against technical analysis. Simply says trade with the trend, right? Higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. That's all that matters. People that are trying to pick the top right now because you think, all this stuff that's happening in the markets, I'm not going against anyone. I'm just going with the big macro picture, and that is one, interest rates, very low interest rates. Two, QE. So they're still doing over $100 billion of QE every single month. Three, there's a lot of buybacks happening right now. And four, there's overseas, that's a Q, right? Overseas money is coming into the markets. Plus, the market is actually telling us, right? It's not what I think. This could be the top right now, right? I'm not saying this is definitely going to break out. For some of you guys that think, oh, well, John said it's definitely going to break out. I do believe it's going to break out. Right? And the way it's gone right now, yes, we're probably going to break out. If we do break out, we're probably going to go for a big move. And so, as you said here, the really interesting thing is that a lot of people talk about the stock market crash. I actually really like that because what happens is this, is that, let me bring this up through to here. Let me bring up this war sheet, trade sheet. Look at this here, right? At tops of markets, you don't get this market's going to crash. This market's going to crash. This market's going to crash. You just don't get that from the marketplace. What do you get? You get what's happening right now in the good old Bitcoin, right? You're getting like this one here, belief. You're getting like, oh my goodness, it's going to the moon. Oh my goodness, here we go, euphoria. You're getting all that stuff, right? What are we getting? What am I? What is all I'm seeing in the marketplace? And this is where it's so hard for you as an individual person involved with these markets, because it just doesn't make sense, right? If most people are fearful, surely that's going to have a cascading effect to the market going down. And this is where my experience in the markets has taught me this valuable lesson, and unfortunately a few times, that whenever the market is like, look at this here, like really, like this is like disbelief, right? We're still to me, in this rally here, we're not even at hope yet. People are like, oh, this market, this is disbelief, this rally will fail. The interesting thing is, like, when you look at the cycles, this is where we're at right now. We're not even at optimism here, right? People are just so negative about these markets, about this market's going to crash and the inflation's going to do this and the inflation's going to do that and da 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 da. Listen, if the inflation was going to do something, it would have already done it. Don't you think? Like, the inflation's been here for 12 months. Why would selling the inflation pop it right now and selling the market go down? To me, it doesn't make sense. Make sense? So I'm listening to the crowd, but secondly, it's just going with that. So let's just go through there. Okay, cool. So that's all I'm doing here. Thanks for all the information, video support through the volatile times. Keep them coming, despite all the fears out there in the marketplace. And that's where Aladdin. There you go, Aladdin. The really interesting thing is, as I said before to Hiro, is that's where it becomes so hard, because if you're new to the markets, even for a few years or more, you're going to get sucked into what all this bullshit is happening out there, and not what the most important things around these markets, right? All this negative news and fears and headlines in the markets, that's actually the opposite effect to what you think is going to happen. Because when most people are fearful, you need to be greedy and so on and so forth. And so that's always the hardest thing out there, right? Especially if you're new to these markets, because you don't know, oh, most people are fearful, so surely the market's got to go down, right? And so again, you'll be able to see that. And that's always the hard thing for a new investor, right? Because you're going out there, you're searching on this information, you find so much negative news out there. And put it this way, negative news sells, right? If I do a video saying, 4 things to help you with your trading, that's going to get, very low views. But if I say, oh my goodness, market's going to crash, this is so bad, well, that's going to get a lot of views, right? That's the video that you probably click on, and not the 5 things that's going to help you with your trading. So I hope that makes sense there. A Wolf of London trader, I'd like to believe this. Now, again, what I'm saying here, you say, I like to believe this. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying the market's definitely going to melt up now. What I'm saying is that if we do hold and we start to break above new highs, remember what I'm saying, right? If we do break above new highs, then we're probably going to start to see the big move up. Now, by the way, guys, the trend is still going up. So if you're short in the markets, you think the market's going to crash now because you're right this time. What about this time? What about this time? As I was saying before, right? So you're not smarter than the markets. And I've done that mistake as well too in the past. But they didn't have a global pandemic and massive inflation in 1999. They didn't have a global pandemic. Really? Yeah, we had a global pandemic. What's that? But what's actually happened to the stock market during the so-called global pandemic? The stock market's gone up. Like, let's just look at the facts. Last 2 years, we've been in this global pandemic and the market's gone up. And massive inflation. Inflation's been here for 12 months now. Why if the inflation was going to do something, it would have already been started being baked in the price. Why is the market still going up overall? Why are we still getting a very big, strong upward trend, as we can see through here? Right? Because remember, what you're looking at here, guys, if you don't know, is that this one back here is the 1999 chart, and this one here is today, right? And all I know is this, is high, low, high, low, high, low. The market is in an upward trend. And as long as it's upward trend, we're staying with that until the market changes. But if you're going to say inflation, they didn't have global inflation. They didn't have a global pandemic. Again, we've been going up. So I don't know that really matters. And massive inflation. Yeah, I wouldn't say massive inflation, right? I wouldn't say there's massive inflation right now. Yeah, there is inflation. There's an increase in inflation, but we're not getting like, 1,000% increase. Like there is inflation is starting to get up there, yeah, but it's not like massive, right? People are having to pay a lot more for food today and salaries are less. So here's the thing, Wolf. Let me ask you a question. And for anyone that's obviously listening to this video, let me ask you a question. What is more powerful in the stock market? Is it the so-called inflation? Is it the so-called inflation that they say that? Or is it interest rates in QE? See, back in 1999, they didn't have 0% interest rates and trillions of dollars of QE either. So if you're comparing apples to apples, exactly what you're saying, they didn't have that. Yeah, but they didn't have 0% interest rates, which is massively bullish for the markets, and massive amounts of QE, which is massively bullish for the markets. So they didn't have that, but today we have that compared to what was happening back there. So right now, with all the amount of money that's been pumped into the system, is so much more bullish, and the interest rate so much more bullish than this 1999 craze was, if you're looking at that there. Great analysis. Love the long-term charts. We've got actually a trade here. Mark says the pandemic is a concern. Nah. Guys, come on now. Let's actually be real here. Let's actually look at the facts. With all the shutdowns, the lockdowns, the ups and downs, the spikes in the vid and all that sort of stuff, what has the market done? Let's just look at the facts. The last 2 years we've been in this thing, and the markets just continue to overall step higher. But inflation is actually a key reason the market will go up. Yeah, exactly. Especially some stocks. Inflation will hit the poorest the hardest, and those aren't the people putting the money in the stock market. Exactly. The market's probably going to keep going up. More money in circulation means money moving into markets. Exactly. Normal people aren't diving into the stock market. If you could point to anyone that is, it would be the debt market. Yes, the debt market, right? Watch the 10-year. Exactly. 10 years been getting smashed. Where are we right now on the 10-year? Right? This is the 10-year right here. And look where we are right now. We're at a 1.3 handle. We're not even... Once we get to the 2 handle, that's when it's going to start to cause havoc. But guys, please, okay? Listen to me. I'm not saying I'm right here. I will completely change my tune if the market changes its tune. But for now, we've got so much supportive evidence of this market going up, and the market just keeps going up, but you're trying to look for these reasons why the market's going to go down until the market tells you, until the trend is your friend until the end. Okay, guys? Look, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, and a pullback. If this changes, where we start to get a lower high and we start to break down there, that's when you change. But why is now different compared to the rest of this year, right? So, yes, and the dollar index, when they start to spike, especially the 10-year, then it is time to be worried. Until then, the market will keep going up. Smart man, Mark. Smart man, right? Because it's all on interest rates. Low interest rates are bullish for asset prices. And put it this way, guys. Put it this way. If you look at the stock market, without QE, right? Remember, they're still doing over $100 billion of QE every month, right? Without QE, without even that QE, what they're doing right now, where is the neutral interest rate? What is the neutral interest rate for the market right now? Which means what neutral interest rate, which simply means it's going to be sort of even, right? It's not going to be bullish for asset prices, or it's not going to be bearish for asset prices. It's sort of going to be neutral in the markets. Where's the neutral rate? Again, without QE, it is where? Well, according to the Fed, it is around 2 to 2.5%. Where's rates now? A big fat 0. So if the neutral rate, which is neutral for asset prices at this point in time, is 2.5% without QE, and we have 0% interest rates, and we're still doing over $100 billion a month in QE, that is like we're still doing supersonic boom into these markets, okay? John, any chance a Bitcoin strong decline will cause something? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I did actually. Bitcoin got hammered. I tell you what, a lot of stops would have been run, but that may have just been one that Bitcoin price there. In fact, let me actually bring this up through to here. I'll bring this over to here. Let me bring up the actual the Bitcoin chart. So this is where are we now? This is the Bitcoin chart here, right? As you can see, the Bitcoin actually got a pretty big flush down. But remember, one of the big things out there is the weekly chart. So let's go. Actually, let's take off the volume here. Let's go to the weekly chart. Let's have a look at the weekly chart here. So we're still in an overall big upward trend. Nothing's really changed. We've just got a bit of a strong pullback. So this could just be a bit of a strong pullback to, get the weak hands out before we go for another big move up. So yeah, we got a strong sell off, but we're not really. We're not really creating any bear market yet. We just had a very strong sell-off. So this could just simply just go back up again. So I wouldn't really class that as, this Bitcoin cycle has nothing to do with the actual stock market. I wouldn't say one has to do another. I would say if this big sell-off period through here in Bitcoin, it would have ran a lot of stops, liquidations. I reckon that'd actually be bullish more for stocks than anything else. Let's go back to here now. Where are we? Hey, wrong one. Yeah. Easy, Tiger. All right, so let's just do this to here. Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, cool. So let's go to here. Let's go back down to here. No. Just one take, guys. One take. All right, just bear with me. All right, come back down to here. So that's what I think about that there. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with that there. The thing is, you don't want to have if Bitcoin's doing something, and you think that's gonna Bitcoin's dropping, so therefore stock market's gonna drop. If you actually look at the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin actually got completely hammered back here in 2021, just completely 50% retracement, but the stock market didn't. So you got to sort of compare apples to apples. You know what I mean? Love it when you start giggling at your own analysis. I do that because it just surprised the hell out of me. Sometimes I'm just doing my analysis live on the spot, and I'm like, oh my goodness, isn't that amazing? Nasdaq dropped 80% and took over 10 years to climb back. Yes, but it did that when? After the blow off top, right? So Ringo, that's what I've been saying here, right? I'm expecting a blow off top, and then something like what you just said. Great work, thank you, agreed. But isn't the problem that we need to tag the lower trend line first? You're talking about here, right? Yeah, you're probably talking about that point right there, where the market hasn't come down, tagged it. It doesn't need to tag it. Remember, the market rhymes. It's not exact. So yeah, we came down, tagged it here, and then broke out. It could do that. It could come down and tag this here, and then break out. But once we do break out of this level here, there's a high probability we're now likely to start to really take on some price action. Again, guys, if you are shorting the market right now, you're shorting what? You're shorting based off the pandemic. Okay, that's been around for 2 years. The market's been going up. What's new? Inflation. Inflation's been here for over 12 months now. Tell me something new. China. Okay, well, China things. Evergrande. Do you see what I'm saying there, right? What are the things keeping this market up? Everything I've been talking about in this market here. Man's Search for Meaning is a great book. I've actually been reading that book, that Man's Search for Meaning. What he's talking about here is this: is that I did a post here on my community tab, and by the way, guys, if you haven't seen, make sure you go to the community tab and make sure you click on this one here. This is my birthday video. I actually had an experience in a jet fighter. I think close to 5G's experience, and at the end I threw up, and it was just made me so sick. So if you guys want to see what I did for my birthday this year, then check that out. So what he's talking about here is this Man's Search for Meaning. I had a comment here just recently. So this Man's Search for Meaning. It's actually that's what he's talking about there. The thing about the where are we here? Right, the thing about Man's Search for Meaning is that I've been reading it, and I was even reading it last night before I went to sleep, and golly, sometimes we bitch about some of the smallest things, right? We just bitch and moan about all these things. Can you imagine? It's like our worst nightmare right now is probably their biggest dream back then. Like, let's actually put our things into perspective. After reading the book and trying to sleep last night, I think I have fucking nothing to complain about. Nothing. Right? What's happening right now? Pandemic. Oh, right. Oh, you lost your job. Okay, the government's going to give you some money. Oh, still got the internet. You still got, Netflix is like only $20 a month or whatever it is. So it's so cheap. Or you got YouTube, which is free on the internet. You can watch all this sort of stuff, this entertainment. We have nothing to complain about. People that bitch and moan all this sort of stuff about all life and so on and so forth. Guys, and sometimes I've done it myself. I have nothing to complain about. My biggest nightmares is their biggest dreams. So it really just helped me. It actually hit me between the eyes reading that book. I haven't finished reading it. I'm almost halfway through it, and man, it's just I have nothing to complain about. So here we go. It is interesting to me that you continue to be so wildly bullish on the market despite terrible underlying economic conditions. I've been bullish this market this entire year, and the market just keeps going up. People just want to keep shorting it. You can if you want to. I've been looking at the dot-com blow-off as a possible, but I just don't see it. Perhaps the trigger could be the Fed doing a 180 on tapering. Why? Which causes everything to slide, to decide to go down, to go all in now to lose purchasing power. But I think we are past the point of no return in terms of the oncoming recession. Yes, I believe we're going to get a recession, but it's not going to be straight away. When do recessions actually happen in past? If you're looking at something, right? We go through a recession, then we go through an expansion. Through the expansions, they start to raise the interest rate to slow it down, and then it pops it again. They haven't even started raising it once, and they're doing QE, right? So they're the big things that are keeping this market up right now: cheap money and QE. Dip buys will continue in after this correction. Then the top will be in before we know it in a few months, maybe mid. Yes. I actually believe that as well too. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Everyone is saying that the bear market is now starting, so you could be right as most people are wrong. That's the psychology, right? So traders, if you want to be good at this thing called trading, that's the psychology, because most people are wrong in the markets. And the one thing that my earliest mentor told me, he said, John, if I'm looking at a property, or if I'm looking at a business thing, or if I'm looking at a stock to purchase, I just figure out what most people don't think is a good idea, and I just do that. And it seems to work out most of the time. So, like for example, Evergrande. People are saying stay away from Evergrande, it's going to go to zero. That actually makes me want to buy it. I haven't bought it yet. I'm still waiting for my right time. But yeah, yes to the moon. Nice comparison, Johnny. But the circumstances are totally different from 99 in my humble opinion. Yes, there actually are different. Back then, they didn't have 0% interest rates. Back then, they didn't have a massive amounts of bazooka of QE coming into the markets. And then cheap money coming from places like Europe that had negative interest rates, and they're trying to chase a yield. Geez, if that happened, oh my God. Good morning, my friend. John, so many variables today, BS. Okay. Tell me, guys, I'm open up for discussion. Tell me what I'm missing. Because the way that I'm looking at these markets, I'm not saying one day, right? Overall, as I said before on this video, that this pullback here lasted a month. We do get our couple of week to a month pullback, and then we go for another one. Our overall trend, right? So we could go for a move up and then a pullback and a move up and a pullback. The trend is still going up. So why would you think something different? And it's just so guys, and the thing is this, is that if in this entire move we've kept making higher lows, and most of the time we make a high low, we continue up. Why this, as you can see, the highest probability has been continuing going with the upward movement. That's the highest probability. But yet people are like, oh my goodness, today's short right now. So guys, please, Don't be trading based off a article or a video or what you're hearing on the marketplace, because the opposite is true in the marketplace. I've been there. I've done that. Okay. You got to look at what is the thing that actually really matters to the markets, really matters to the stock market right now. And we're looking at the 10-year yield, which is interest rates. They're low. So anyway, guys, I'm open for discussion. You know, I could completely be wrong about this, about this market continuing up. And then obviously we've got to correct, right? But until at least the technicals start to change, I have to stay bullish. Why? Because the trend is your friend until the end.